Breaking now at 6, a new court ruling potentially clears the way for the National Guard to deploy in Portland. Why Oregon's leaders say the legal battle is far from over.
Troops cannot be deployed anywhere in Oregon at this point.
Governor Tina Kotek is among those pushing back, while legal experts try to find clarity.
Where does the federal government's power end? Where does the state's power begin?
Plus, how local food pantry staff say the president's immigration crackdown is impacting the hunger crisis, even for those in the U.S. legally.
There are people who are simply afraid of being in a public space like this.
And later, another setback for a new Burnside bridge, with the county pointing fingers at the federal government. Good evening, everyone. We continue at 6 with the major breaking news today. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has essentially cleared the way for President Trump to send National Guard troops to Portland.
And we say essentially because technically a second restraining order remains in place, blocking the administration from using troops from Oregon or any state. Oregon's governor saying as long as that's in place, and we should note the Trump administration has already filed to dissolve it, the National Guard cannot hit the streets.
We've got a lot to break down here, so let's get right to our live team coverage. We'll check in with Catherine Cook at the ICE building in just a moment, but first to our Kyle Aboshi in the newsroom on that major victory for the White House. Kyle.
This is a big decision, but the legal wrangling will likely continue. Just moments after the ruling, lawyers for the state of Oregon and the city of Portland filed a motion asking for reconsideration. They want an 11-judge panel from the Ninth Circuit to review the decision. And as of now, it's unclear when we'll see troops on the ground. The Trump administration can move forward with plans to deploy National Guard troops to help protect the ICE facility in Portland following a ruling Monday from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. In a split 2-1 vote, the 3-judge panel overturned a lower court order temporarily blocking the deployment. The ruling comes after oral arguments on October 10th, when the 2 Trump-nominated judges appeared to side with the federal government.
I'm sort of trying to figure out how a district court of any nature is supposed to get in and question whether the president's assessment of executing the laws is right or wrong.
In Monday's ruling, those same 2 judges found that troops under the president's control are needed to relieve federal officers who they say are stretched thin, writing, "The continued deployment of Federal Protective Service officers to Portland is unsustainable, and state and local law enforcement have been unable or unwilling to assist the government's efforts to protect federal personnel and property at the ICE facility." In response to the decision, Oregon's Attorney General issued a statement explaining if the ruling is allowed to stand, it would give the president unilateral power to put Oregon soldiers on our streets with almost no justification. We are on a dangerous path in America. The dissenting judge, a Clinton appointee, said her counterparts got it wrong, specifically noting how protesters in costume and participants in a naked bike ride run counter to the president's characterization of Portland as a war zone, writing, "Today's decision is not merely absurd, it erodes core constitutional principles." The state of Oregon and city of Portland are asking the Ninth Circuit to reconsider and want a larger panel of judges to review the decision. There is one legal question still hanging out there. Today's ruling applies to only one of the 2 temporary restraining orders the Judge Karen Immerget issued earlier this month, blocking the deployment. The court will have to sort out what impact today's ruling has on the second restraining order.
Yeah, appreciate you keeping on top of this quickly developing news. Thank you, Kyle.
A couple different layers there. As we touched on just a few moments ago, Oregon's governor is now criticizing the split ruling and also insisting as things stand, troops cannot be deployed. Take a listen.
We have approximately 200 Oregon National Guard members still at Camp Rylea in limbo, as well as the California National Guard members at Camp Withicum. No idea of the mission, no idea of the timeline. And at this point, until that second temporary restraining order is rescinded, troops cannot be deployed anywhere in Oregon at this point.
And as far as we know, we have not seen any troop movement yet. Meanwhile, one legal expert says today's ruling may embolden the Trump administration to send more troops to more places.
Our Stephanie Domerod is here now with that part of the story. Stephanie.
That's right. Today's ruling is the latest in a string of legal developments surrounding Trump's mission to send National Guard troops to Portland. Now, Professor Laura Appelman with Willamette University says today's decision gives the president wide discretion in determining when troops should be federalized and deployed. Appelman says dissenting Judge Susan Garber's opinion today focused heavily on the balance of power between state and federal governments.
She's arguing that this, order of federalizing the National Guard is taking away Oregon's right to decide how to use its own state militia. And of course, this is also, I would say, a primary aspect of this case, but, where does the federal government's power end? Where does the state's power begin?
Now, Appelman says the use of the National Guard in this way is different than what we've seen in the past when states or cities have asked for help. So this could lead to more legal challenges between local and national jurisdictions. As for next steps, she expects the Ninth Circuit to decide soon on whether to grant an en banc, which is essentially a review by a larger panel of judges in the Ninth Circuit. Given the urgency, she thinks we could hear in the next few days. As for whether this case could end up at the Supreme Court, Appelman says that's also unlikely right now, but that could change if different circuit courts start to issue conflicting rules. Back to you.
Thanks, Steph. Appreciate it. Case in point here, today's ruling also touched on a case out of Chicago where the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the lower court's order blocking troop deployment.
But the two judges in the Portland case who ruled in favor of the Trump administration claim the situation here is different. The judges say a key distinction is that protests forced the Portland ICE facility to temporarily close back in June. That's according to federal officials. In Chicago, the ICE facility there has remained open despite protests.
Team coverage continues with Catherine Cook now on the South Waterfront. So, Catherine, what are you seeing right now?
I just took a look, David, and things have really thinned out back here behind us in the ICE building area. About maybe a dozen or so protesters this evening. Activity levels have gone up and down, though. If I step out of the way, you can kind of have a look for yourself. You can see several folks with their signs. A lot of the same folks we've seen out here day after day. Up on the roof, we are counting maybe 4 federal agents kind of monitoring things from that point. We've seen 2 people taken into custody this afternoon by DHS officers. I believe one of them was released. We saw him outside later, again, blowing bubbles, as a lot of folks are. But you know what? The varying levels were very evident over the weekend when things were very busy out front here at the ICE building, especially Saturday night after several local Kings marches. Federal officers used tear gas and pepper spray to push crowds away from the building. It happened as they facilitated their nightly shift change, with cars leaving and arriving at the building. Now, for months, things have been relatively uneventful, other than nightly protests and occasional clashes with agents. But what caught the president's attention happened back in June. Protesters then circled the ICE facility. Some of them broke the glass on the doors of the building. Also, at least one federal officer was injured during the incidents. And the feds responded. They used pepper balls and rubber bullets, at times witnesses say hitting people who live in the area but weren't involved in the protests. The Trump administration argued that what you're seeing here is why National Guard troops are needed to help protect the federal building. We spoke with protesters tonight about the court ruling. They said tensions out here are already high and sending National Guard troops won't make any difference to them.
It seems to me like they're already here. I mean, it's like one more thing on his bad side of the ledger. Right now, it's all Nazi on one side, anarchy on the other, and we need to find a way to have a conversation. Right now, Trump is not interested in conversation. He's interested in tossing tear gas.
Oh, as for what we see next out here, it's anyone's guess. We've spoken with a lot of folks who say, hey, you know what? Like the gentleman you just heard from, it won't make any difference. Others don't expect to see any National Guard folks out here until they really square everything away with the courts. But basically what we have out here won't change. The majority of people tell us, they say this is what they came here to do, and no matter who comes out here to protect the building, that won't change. Back to you.
A lot of waiting and watching, though. Catherine Cook reporting from South Portland. Thank you, Catherine. Well, it's worth remembering that it's President Trump's immigration policies, including enforcement, that have sparked protests and, in some cases, forced families some are living in fear to change their daily routines.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Libby Dowsett stopped by Oregon's busiest food pantry, one that's seen a 25% drop in families.
The staff at Ecumenical Ministries of Oregon says they're being proactive. If people don't feel comfortable coming here to pick up food, they'll bring the food to them. Boxes of fresh fruit, rice, bread, and meat rolling out to families in need.
We look at everyone who comes here as a human being who needs food.
Northwest Emergency Food Program Manager John Mackler takes us through Oregon's largest serving food pantry on Northeast 72nd Avenue in Portland.
Last week, we served 1,000 unique families.
We got potatoes.
Monday is the delivery day. All these donations from Trader Joe's going right back out the door.
As we meet people that need help, we'll bring them a box. They are very grateful. They're happy to see the food.
We have more food lately, which tells me that we have less customers coming, which is scary.
Scary because she knows there are families out there who are not getting enough to eat. And it's not just immigrant families nervous to show up, but also some of the pantry's Spanish-speaking volunteers.
There are people who are simply afraid of being in a public space like this. They feel vulnerable, even if they are here legally, if they have all of their papers. They're just afraid to be in a place because of the risk of detention and unknown consequences.
Staff says making sure people feel safe is number one.
So when someone is here, we hope that they feel safe. They are in a private area of our facility, of our service, and they are entitled to certain legal protections when they are here.
But also meeting clients where they are is a solution both staff and volunteers are willing to try.
It's really sad and it's concerning. These are already people that needed help and now they don't have access.
Our belief, I literally wear on my shirt, is to welcome the stranger, to feed the hungry. Without discrimination, we want everyone to feel the same dignity, the same humanity that we do.
The staff says they have seen a slight bump in the number of people coming through their doors in the past 3 weeks, but they say that coincides with the federal government making cuts to food assistance programs, and those people are probably coming in. Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
In tonight's other headlines, tragedy on the coast with a surfer dead after getting caught in a sneaker wave. That surfer, a 43-year-old woman from Corvallis. It happened yesterday afternoon near Siletz Bay, south of Lincoln City. Rescuers received reports that she got caught in a strong current and was pulled out to sea. She was later found dead. Authorities say the woman was pulled hundreds of feet into the ocean in just minutes.
To Old Town now, where one person was stabbed this afternoon. This is around 2:30 near Everett and 4th, and while details are limited, police say the victim should survive. A suspect has also been detained. No word yet on what led up to the stabbing.
And a heads up, the Oregon Air National Guard's 142nd Wing says it's conducting night training this week. The F-15 missions start tonight and will last through Thursday. The Guard says the training allows its pilots to meet Air Force requirements. Training flights should wrap up by 10 o'clock each evening. Matt?
All right, Christine, thank you very much. It's going to be a clear evening until the fog begins to form, which will happen towards morning. Right now, looking out from our sky cam at the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. Beautiful look at the vineyards turning color. There's Mount Hood. But the valley, again, is going to fill in with fog in the morning hours. We're sitting right now at 60 degrees as the temperatures in the atmosphere begin to cool off now that the sun has gone down. Now, out of the Oregon coast, just some scattered high clouds. Some folks taking pictures of the sunset. Why not, right? But farther offshore, there are storms lurking. It is going to be a very active North Pacific Ocean over the next several days. You can see one storm here, another one there. We don't really get into the activity until we get into Thursday night, late Thursday night and Friday. But when we do, our first atmospheric river of the fall will reach the Oregon coast and provide us with a lot of rain, some wind, and eventually some decent amount of snowfall too. So tomorrow morning, thick fog, weather impact alert for Friday for that atmospheric river, and we'll be following the snow in the Cascades. Guys.
Gosh, just in time for the weekend. Okay, thank you, Matt.